The external manifestation of your reality is absolutely irrelevant. It doesn't matter if you get good grades, if you have a good job, if you have a great relationship. You can have all of this success on paper, but if you're dead inside, it means absolutely nothing. At some point along my journey, I realized that you could be a billionaire in a penthouse, have everything that you could ever want, and have the desire to end it all. And at the same time, you could be a starving child in India and be absolutely elated that you found a piece of scrap bread on the ground. You see, our perception of life is subjective. We base our happiness by what our life looks like on the outside, but happiness is found within. It's not your fault that society has conditioned you into believing that success will bring you happiness, or peace, or love, or joy. We think that other people will bring us love. It's been said before by Jesus that what is the point of gaining the world if you lose your soul? This is precisely what we are discussing here. Because you can have everything in the world, but if you don't have yourself, you have nothing. But if you come into contact with the innermost core of your being, and you have nothing of the world, you will be in complete contentment and satisfaction. You will live each day in love and joy and peace. And I know this because I am living this way now. My circumstances may not be successful on paper, but within, I am fully happy and satisfied. You see, when I came to that idea that you could have all the riches of the world and want to end it all, well, in my early 20s, I had to think about, okay, where's my life headed? What am I going to do with my life? And I thought, well, I could be a rock star. That's about all I wanted to do. But I came to the realization that, well, the path of God is the highest path, so why would I do anything else? As Jesus said, seek first the kingdom of heaven, and everything else will be added on to you. So for me, I realized, okay, well, I'm not going to focus on gaining worldly success right now. Not until I found inner success. Because if I am happy with nothing, then I can be happy with everything. But if I am not happy with everything, then that is a true tragedy. How many people do you think experience this? Where they achieve all of their dreams, all of the things that they've ever desired, and they're still not happy? Where else do you have to go? What else do you have to do? This is where you feel lost. You feel hopeless. That is a very scary place to be. But I say, if you have already gained the world, you have not even yet scratched the surface. Because this universe, this existence, is but the tip of the iceberg. All of the rewards and the riches are found within you. They say, we're too late to explore the earth and too early to explore space. But I say it's always the perfect time to begin exploring yourself, exploring your mind. A completely blue ocean where not a single person has yet tapped into. And so you see, if you are experiencing great suffering, you have the greatest opportunity to find freedom. There are two kinds of people who will never find this deep source of inner riches. Rich people who are too concerned with the world, and poor people who are too concerned with surviving. Their attention and their energy is too focused on material existence, and so they will forever be separated from their inner depths, and they will spend their life suffering and a slave to the world. These kinds of people suffer the greatest in life. Now let me tell you who has the greatest opportunity for freedom. Rich people who have gained the world but who are dead inside. They have no choice but to start looking elsewhere. And the only place left to look is within. Sometimes you have to exhaust all your dreams and all your desires to realize they weren't what was going to make you happy in the first place. Then there is the poorest of people who have absolutely nothing. And these people are free from all burdens. They have discovered how to be happy with nothing. Because the truth is, you actually don't need anything to be happy or peaceful, but you always need something to make you unhappy and to take away your peace. And so don't allow people to make you feel guilty if you have success on paper, if your life seems good, if people tell you, yeah, you should be happy, but you're not. They don't understand what it's like. When you are cut off from your soul, from your inner being, nothing in life matters. And so very simply, how we remedy this problem is we have to understand first the nature of it. And that is, we all have a source of life within us. And our mind is a tool that directs the flow of life. But what the mind can do is it can separate us from life. And when we are separated from life, death takes its place. Like when the lights in a room are off, darkness is what remains. And so that suffering, that despair, that depression, all of these negative things that we experience, this is what it is like to be consumed by death. We have been cut off from the life within ourselves, and the one responsible is our own mind. And so there's a very simple practice we can do to return back to the source. You can do it at night or in the morning, but I'll just share with you my routine. I call it the lazy man's way of meditation. And so what you do is, when you awaken in the morning, before getting out of bed, just sit with yourself for as long as you feel. And what you will find is that there is an inner presence, and this inner presence only lasts so long as the mind has not yet kicked on. The moment the mind kicks on, this inner presence goes away, and we find ourselves becoming more uneasy. We have more tension, more resistance. And so the only point of this practice is to remain as awareness and focus on this inner presence for as long as we can. This inner presence is the radiance of your life, what is known as consciousness. And what you can call the function of consciousness is awareness. So this consciousness that is awareness radiates peace and love and joy. And this radiance is experienced as an inner presence. So the more you can remain as awareness, be aware of all of your experiences, and focus on this inner presence. Focus on the present moment. This is how you reconnect to your life. Because you see, what happens is that, well, first, life is experienced in the present moment. So the more you are cut off from the present, the less you are truly living. And so what the mind does is that it perpetually takes you out of the present moment by judging the reality, by looking at the past, by looking in the future, and creating this story in your mind about what is happening. So the reason our life is drained is because we're like in this bubble, this construct of the reality that we think we're living in. We say, these are the facts of my reality. These are the things that are going on. But the fact is that we do not experience reality. We are experiencing our own inner world being projected outward. We never actually suffer reality as it is. We suffer the story in our minds about it. And so we are caught in our heads, taken away from the present moment, and therefore cut off from life. So the practice is beginning to take your power away from this story or interpretation of reality, and remaining as a non-attached awareness to perceive reality as it is, to accept and surrender everything as it is in the present moment. And what you will find is that throughout your day, things will trigger you and pull you back into your mind, back into a story, and you will feel the suffering that it creates, the tension, the uneasiness. And the more you practice this, the more contrast you will feel between this natural joy of being, this inner peace, and the suffering of the mind state. And it will become easier and easier to remain in the present moment, because you will prefer joy and peace and love, and the thoughts and the stories and the interpretations and the beliefs and the attitudes, they will all become unfavorable. But if you remember anything, simply remember that life is experienced in the present moment, and that the mind is what separates you from this life, from this moment. So all you have to do is practice returning to the moment, remaining as awareness. And as you remain as a non-attached observer, as awareness, you will begin creating separation, space between you and your experiences. And this will be your safe space from all of this suffering, all of this negativity. But you see, what happens is that we attach our awareness to the mind. And so we become one with the mind. And so now all of the thoughts and the stories and the negative life situations, we get caught in this mind storm. And that is how we get cut off from life. And that is what creates so much suffering. Your mind and your thoughts and the life circumstances use your own power against you. And so you get weaker, and the thoughts and the things get stronger. And so we live our life as a slave. And we feel that suffering. We feel being cut off from our soul. And so all you have to do is take your power back, simply by not giving it to things outside of your control, not giving it to things that don't serve you. This is how you become free.